I'm Kylie Marcus Blue, and I'm here with Young Atlas.
And you play me like Nintendo, no sexual innuendo. I'm just speaking on your behalf. And I think about how dumb I was, so I can't blame one of us. It really makes me laugh.
So Kylie, thank you for sitting down with us.
Thank you for having me.
For sure, let's get right into it. Where are you from?
Boca Raton, Florida.
Oh, okay. Okay, how'd you circle up here?
So I grew up in Boca. I went to Chicago for school, for music.
Gotcha.
And then from there I went to LA for a couple years,
Okay.
and I've been in New York for about 4 years now.
Gotcha. So you've seen a lot of different markets.
I
you know.
have.
Which one, do you have a preference? You like New York the most, Boca, LA?
I love New York.
Yeah.
I would have to say my favorite Chicago though.
Okay, why is that?
The music scene's like really dope out there.
Okay.
It's a little smaller, so it's more like, it's easier for everybody to get in touch with everybody. Yeah, it's just like, it's more of a family setting out there. It's a lot smaller, and
Right.
but there's like a really dope jazz scene out there that I really liked when I was out there.
You like jazz music?
I'm not a huge fan, but I like the influences that it can give.
Right, right. So tell us, how did you get into music? How did you start off doing it?
I actually started, I was writing songs when I was like 9 years old, you know, little stupid things that probably I didn't even know what I was talking about. But I actually started in musical theater. I was doing all the musicals and stuff in my high school. I was singing the national anthem for my football teams. I went to school originally for musical theater. And then after I got my heart broken for the first time, I started writing music, and I fell in love with that. So that's how I got into doing my own thing.
Got you. So music was a good way for you to cope with tough situations.
Totally. I don't really like to talk about things, so that's where I express myself.
You let it out in the music. So you were in Boca, then you went to school in Chicago, studied musical theater.
Musical theater.
But then you took the trip to LA after.
To LA, yeah.
Got you. Why did you want to move out there? What was that all about?
I actually got signed.
Okay.
So I had an opportunity and I took it. I was there for about 2 years. It was okay. It wasn't my favorite experience that I've had, but it was definitely a stepping stone and a learning experience. But I wanted to get away from that for a little bit, so I came to New York, and I needed something more fast-paced. It's a little slow out there.
Right. So when you were just getting into this a little bit, because it's important for people to understand, like, how did it work in terms of you being signed? Like, they reached out to you, were like, we're going to give you a couple years deal?
Actually, somebody I went to high school with was interning for the label, and he reached out to me to come perform at a showcase. There was no promises, just come out, perform, see what happens, see if they like you, and they did. So they ended up wanting to sign me and move me out there.
That's amazing. How long were you out there?
2 years.
Okay. So then you took what was the reason you wanted to come to New York?
LA is cool. It's just not my favorite place. It was, like I said, it was very slow. I'm a chameleon. Like I adapt to my surroundings. So I saw that I was getting a little too slow for what I needed to be doing. I needed to be around stuff that was moving for me to really get motivated.
Gotcha. And so here in New York, you think you can be a lot more productive?
Totally. Yeah. I got comfortable being in my apartment with the view and the beach and not doing shit.
So that's one of the main big differences for you from LA to New York. Like, you can really up your hustle here.
Totally. Yeah. And I just admire everybody's hustle out here. It's crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
So I know you've been doing music for a while. Like, what are some goals that you have for 2019, some things you've been working on that you're trying to accomplish?
I'm hoping to put out an EP. I have a few singles out right now. I want a full project to be out hopefully by the summer. I just, being a songwriter, I am a singer, but a songwriter first, I would say. And from my experience, like my favorite songwriters and stuff, to listen to a song that can relate to what you're going through and make you feel a type of way, there's nothing like it. So if somebody can feel that from what I've written or what I've experienced, and even take their own experiences and feel it in a different way, that's the best feeling in the world.
For sure. So let's dive into that because that's really important to understand, right? Songwriters. Before we dive in, let's talk a little bit about some inspirations. Like, who are some people that you admire, some songwriters, some singers that you like grew up or
My
listen to?
favorite singer-songwriter, I would have to say, is Sarah Bareilles,
Okay.
Amy Winehouse, Lauryn Hill. Those are like my top 3.
Gotcha. And you, were they one of the reasons when you wanted to come
Oh
pursue
yeah,
it?
oh yeah.
For sure. And then when you're writing a song, we sit down with a lot of different artists, and this question is always very interesting. Like, everyone has their own process, right?
Yeah.
Like, what is your process when you're writing a song, putting together some music?
My favorite process is when it literally just like out on the table. Like, I've been in situations where I'll be out with my friends and I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta write a song. Like, it just comes to me. So I don't like to sit down and be like, today I'm gonna write a song. You know, when it's organic and it's authentic and it just comes naturally, that's my process. And I usually find my best work to happen like that. And sometimes it happens in a matter of minutes. You know, I can write a full song in that 15 minutes, and it's because it's just exactly how I feel, and it comes right out.
So you go from the soul. I love it.
Totally.
So let's get into that a little bit. Like, can you take us through maybe the last, like, you know, an example of that, the last time that happened, just how you kind of came up with the song, some motivation you had for it?
Yeah, there's just some stuff I'm going through, I guess. There's this thing that happens when I sit down at my keyboard at home and like I'll hit the first chord, and before I sing, before I think, before anything, like tears come down. I don't know what it is. It happens all the time, and it's like inexplainable. I really don't know how it happens. It's like I hit the chord and tears come. And then I found like my best songs come out when I'm very specific. You know, you can say like, oh, you know, my heart is broken and blah, 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 blah. Or it can be like, you know, yesterday at 3 p.m., this happened, da, 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 da. And that's when, like, I think are the coolest songs, like just super honest, you know?
No, I respect that. So speaking of, you know, some influencers, for you, like if you were to collaborate with someone like, in today's music times, like who would that be? Why? Can you explain that a little bit? I know it's a difficult question.
It is.
You know.
Black.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I would have to say his album in 2018 was the best album I've heard in a really long time, for start to finish.
Okay.
Like I said, very honest. His songwriting was so dope. And he just has like a very cool style. It's like his own like little singy rappy thing going on, but it's very melodic and it's dope. So I have a song I'm working on right now, and I know it's like, I don't know him, I don't know his peoples, and I'm in no position to ask him, but if I could get him on that song, it would be out of control.
Well, Black, if you're listening.
Yeah, please.
For sure. And then let's get into the business of it a little bit, because it's interesting you had this label background, right? Mm-hmm. What are some pros and cons, like, you know, independent, not, you know, like, what's your situation like now? How is it different?
Pros of being signed is just all the connections. You know, you need something, it's there. Cons, your creative freedom is a little limited. So I would say now that I'm independent, I do what I want, I sing what I want, I write what I want, I wear what I want, I say what I want.
Gotcha.
You know, it's very different. Also, you know, when my studio time and the things that I do, it's coming out of my pocket, it's actually better. My work is better, you know, because it's like I worked hard for that money, I'm investing it in myself, so I tend to work harder when that's going on.
For some artists that might be listening, what is some advice you would maybe give them if they're trying to make a decision in terms of whether to sign or not? Like, what should they look for?
Stay true to yourself. Make sure that whoever is giving you the opportunity is out for your best interest. That they see the best in you. They see I mean, obviously everybody's, they want something for themselves, and that's fine. You gotta be selfish in times, but just make sure you're gonna be your best self coming out of whatever it is you're signed to.
For sure. I appreciate that. And I we like to ask this. I know, we believe in fate and things happen for a reason, but if you could go back and maybe change some things up with the situation with the label, like, is there anything you would have maybe done differently?
Honestly, I wish I would have stayed in Chicago a little longer.
Okay.
I had only been in school for 2 years. I was just getting a name for myself, and I think I jumped the gun a little too quickly. I took the first opportunity that was presented to me, and I think I don't want to say I regret anything, but I do think that if I would have stayed in Chicago and kept doing what I was doing there, I probably would have found myself a little sooner.
Gotcha.
Because it was kind of cut off.
So you kind of had a niche, you were growing a fan base out there.
Yeah, totally.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So what are some things that, because I know we've done some shows like at SOBs together, and by the way, you're a great live performer.
Thank you.
So, and I know you're growing your following. Like, what are some ways that you've been able to do that? Because I see you're constantly growing your fan base.
I'm trying. I have noticed I have a very difficult time promoting myself. I don't like to talk about myself. I don't like to put myself out there. Even though I'm a performer and I'm an artist, I do like being in the background more so. And if I'm in the spotlight, it's not contrived. It's very it just happens,
Gotcha. And then in terms of maybe being in the background, is there some other interests outside of music that you're really interested in, that if you weren't maybe a singer that you would want to be pursuing? Or
I would probably still doing the writing if I didn't want to be an artist.
Do you have a team of people you work with right now and that's helping your career? Can we go a little bit behind the scenes of what's
Sure.
going on?
I have a booking manager, Jeffrey Empire, that gets me a lot of my shows.
Okay.
I'm working with a producer and engineer, Lou Vibe, right now, that's also a really dope artist as well. I hope to collaborate on some music also.
Nice.
Young Atlas,
Yeah.
But for the most part, I'm independent. Other
Gotcha.
than that, yeah.
What should people look for when they're getting people on a team? Like, for example, if for a manager, because that's important. Like, what are some things that artists should look for if you would give some advice to them?
Somebody you trust, 100%. Somebody that knows and understands you as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't see you in any other kind of light, but also sees you as a human being as well.
For sure.
I know there's that Drake line where he's like, I'd rather give my 15% to people I fuck with.
Right.
I totally would live by that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And in terms of the business, also, are there some people that you kind of would like to potentially work with that you've maybe seen how they've worked with other people's careers?
I'm not super knowledgeable on that. I probably should look into it more, but there's nobody really that I think about during the day where I'm I want to
Gotcha.
have them look after my career.
No, just a question, because it's interesting just how different artists kind of see the blueprint and landscape,
Yeah.
because a lot of it, some artists are more they look at it more businessy, this is where I want to be, and then a lot of artists are really it's more on trust and just getting it done with the people I know. So
Yeah,
it's not like there's a right or wrong way.
Right. Because at the end of the day, these days the music business is more of a business than it is music.
For sure.
So I don't see anything wrong with the people that are doing it as far as just a business, but I just don't want anybody to lose sight of, why we all started in the first place.
For sure.
Yeah.
So now we're closing it up a little bit, so we're gonna have a little more fun. So if you're gonna plan a vacation in a couple weeks,
Okay.
you got a $5,000 budget.
Ooh.
Where you think you're gonna go?
$5,000?
Yeah. You can't stay at the Plaza Hotel for a week. It's gotta be.
No.
It's gotta be out
Damn
of New York.
it. No. Ooh. I want to go to Panama.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And then if you had that and you're in New York, what store would you be shopping at?
Oh man.
You got Fifth Ave, anywhere.
That's hard. I'm not a shopper. Can I go to McDonald's
Yeah, definitely.
and get $5,000 worth of French fries
That
and
sounds-
McDonald's Coke?
That sounds like a plan.
All right.
McDonald's Coke or Chipotle Coke? Which one's better?
You know they're the same.
Really?
They are.
So that was a trick question.
That was a trick question.
And you passed. All right. So now we're going to dive into your social media a little bit. Can you
Okay.
just tell the viewers what your handle is so they can follow you?
Yeah, it's Kylie Marcus Blue. Kylie, Kylie, Marcus, Marcus, and blue like the color.
Thank you. And let's explain a couple of these Instagram pictures.
Okay.
All right. The first one we have here is you in this beautiful lingerie on your keyboard.
Yes.
Let's dive into this a little bit. Was this
Okay.
for like, Playboy or something?
It's classy.
It is. No. Playboy's a classic.
Yeah, on some
all
days.
R.I.P. to you.
Right. I think we got that idea because I feel, like I said before, when I don't really like to talk about my feelings. So when I'm showing my music, it's the one time that I feel really naked and exposed.
Gotcha.
So that's where that idea came from. I know that like it's showing like the tattoo that I have on my side. I had just gotten it when I did that photo shoot, and it's one of my favorite quotes. It's "If I cannot fly, let me sing,"
Okay.
by Stephen Sondheim, which is a songwriter for musical theater. So there's a little background from there
Gotcha.
too.
Got you. That's dope. Then we got another picture here.
Okay.
Gonna change gears a little bit.
Okay.
I see fur gifts in the club. I've been to a lot of clubs before,
Yeah.
and I have never gotten a fur gift. So
No.
can you explain that a little bit? What was going on
Me
here?
neither. It was my birthday.
Okay.
And a good friend of mine, he popped up and he actually came with like this dope ass duffel bag. And I was like, yo, that's so cool. Like, he's like, no, open the bag. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I thought he got me just a duffel bag. And there was it was like a clown purse. Like, it just kept coming out. This big mink coat.
Right.
Yeah, and I put it on and I was already lit. So I was like, hey.
Wow, that's
with
a classic night right there.
Yeah, it was.
Did you
it
get
was
to
fun.
keep the duffel bag?
I did. He was like, that's yours too.
Right,
so
right.
yeah, it was
Win-win.
cool.
Would have been funny if he was like, nah.
No, yeah,
that's
not the
cool.
bag, just the coat.
No, for sure. So the last question we like to, we started off with 5,000, then we go to $5. All right. This is the last question. You got $5 in your pocket. You got to eat somewhere in New
McDonald's.
York. You
Can't
can't
say
say McDonald's
McDonald's?
fries. No.
Okay.
You already spent $5,000 in there. You know?
You're
Less
right.
than
You're right. All right, $5. What can I get for $5? It's hard because I'm gluten free.
Oh, that is difficult.
It's hard, because you got to be allergic to something, and it's more expensive to eat for some reason. Let me get a smoothie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just thinking that. Like
Yes.
an insure or
A
something?
nice little, no, I'm gonna get like a juice, but I'm gonna go to like Washington Heights where it is $5, not
Right.
like, so you can get a juice and then it's like $12.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna get a smoothie.
For sure. And the last question is, what is your favorite thing about New York? What is New York to you?
It's real.
It's real.
Yeah.
The grit.
It is what it is.
I love it. Well, thank you for sitting down with us
Thank
today.
you for
I
having
really
me.
enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah, me too.